#1 fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today. The finals mean more on Prize Picks, and so do the star players. You get boosted payouts on select basketball stars that you won't find anywhere else. When the finals are over and the hoops action doesn't stop on Prize Picks, women's basketball is just getting started with young stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese looking to make names for themselves along greats like Brianna Stewart and Aja Wilson. Love them all. You could win up to 100 times cash watching them ball out. Right? Correct. Optional for June only. There's always action on Prize Picks, and this is the perfect time to try out something new as basketball's winding down. Make sure to try out esports this month, because every Wednesday and Saturday in June, if your lineup doesn't win, you'll get your entry free back. Choose from Counter-Strike 2, Call of Duty, League of Legends, and more. Wow. This is the one, though. I will say this. I do this. My friends do it. My family. Everybody's in a fantasy. This is the fantasy app. If you like the show and you appreciate it and you like us, download the app today and use code TIM for the first deposit match of up to 100. I'm not even selling Prize Picks. Prize Picks sells itself. I'm selling your commitment to me. Prize Picks sells itself. Download the app today and use code TIM for a first deposit match up to $100. I thought about this article, The Cult of Costco. Is such an interesting... Thinking so much about the suburbs as I finish this book that I'm going to release. It's going to be out in the holidays. Stop asking me about it. It's going to be out for the holidays. You people are aware of that? Holidays? Do you not understand when I respond? They go, it's the holidays. What holidays? What do you mean, what holidays? Flag Day, Christmas, Hanukkah, Ramadan. Isn't Ramadan in December? Who cares? What I'm saying is the holidays. Don't look it up. It's not. It doesn't matter. Winter solstice. How one of America's biggest retailers methodically turns casual shoppers into fanatics. What Costco has done, by the way, what Costco has done is quite impressive, because they've turned Americans into monsters. And I remember, like, when everybody from my neighborhood first started to get their Costco cards, and we have something called BJ's. There's different variations of Costco. But I remember that. Everybody started to get their Costco cards, and then you would go with them. And it was a big day. Going to Costco was like a big day. I remember my mother, her friend, would like lend my mother her card or something, and then we would go to Costco, and it would be a big day because you can get items in bulk. You can have everything, and you keep it in your house, and it's exciting to have food forever and know that you don't have to go shopping again. You have all of the food, and when you have more, you consume more, of course. You have more, you eat. You have a bucket of something, it disappears. Right? You don't portion it out. It's not rational. They know this. They know at Costco that people are not. It's America. They go, if we give people a bucket, they're going to eat it. And they're going to come in and get another bucket. And make no mistake, you get buckets. If you showed Costco to somebody in Europe, they would vomit. We buy industrial size buckets of like cleaning solution, but it's ketchup, or it's mayonnaise, or it's barbecue sauce. The size of some of the Costco products shows some of the biggest Costco products. It's truly grotesque. And when I was in Europe with Sam Talent, we were over there performing, and none of this exists. None of these exist in Europe. You cannot go to a store and get 3 months worth of chocolate-covered pretzels. You're not permitted. I think we got to stop allowing certain things, and this is kind of one of the things, unfortunately, that I think we're going to have to stop allowing. I think this is probably, and this is where my libertarian streak, it hits a little bit of the wall, because I do think that in the food space, like, for example, I think we're going to look back on this. Remember subprime mortgages? I do. And they were all adjustable rate mortgages. You would take a mortgage, and then a few years later, the rate that you had would quadruple.
Nie
It would
wiem,
double,
może
triple,
po prostu.
quadruple. And
Skoro
then you
to
could no
Voodoo
longer pay the mortgage. We all look back on that. And we go, why the fuck would we give someone a mortgage that was cheap for 2 years and then wildly more expensive just 24 months later? These people's lives aren't changing. It's not like in 24 months they've all made lots more money. Why would we do that? And the reason that we did it was greed. And look at that, Costco selling massive bag of popcorn. Look at this.
Poczekaj sekundę.
This is not okay. I think we're gonna look back on this and
Chyba mówiła
say
coś o
this
Jolinowi.
is not okay.
Pewnie dlatego
That
Ewelin
we
zachowała
let
to nagranie.
the companies
Zobaczyłam coś jeszcze.
not only poison the food. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Go to that cart. That woman has a
Musimy to
child
przetłumaczyć.
sitting
To
on
musi
that.
być coś ważnego.
Now, yes, there's a lot of water here,
Spoko,
and Tide
znalazłam
and detergent, and
aktualizację,
like
która tu tłumaczy.
it's the you know
Powinna być z tobą
there's a lot of
kompatybilna.
water and
Grać.
stuff, but there's also going to be a lot of food on it. She's just warming up. People have like these. This is all industrial. If you go to Costco, it's like a big factory, it's a warehouse, and you're pushing large cans of poison in a cart, and then you have to load up your car, and then you go feed your family. I don't think that, and you know, it marries a lot of the trends in America.
Okay,
Like a lot of people are
wystarczy.
preppers, a lot of
Dobra,
people are
odłączam
preparing, and maybe they're not even stupid. Who knows? They're preppers. They're preparing for a time when they cannot get food. This was
Nie
big
rozumiem,
during
co
the
do tego ma Johnny
pandemic. People started to
Silverhand.
really
Przecież on
panic, and then
zniknął
people would
lata
stock
temu.
up. Even me, I said I don't stock up on anything. I eat out
Wiesz,
a
o co
lot.
mogło
You know,
chodzić.
I usually don't freak out. I don't think that, like, you know,
To
we're not
bardzo
going to be able to
długa
get like, you
historia.
know, Kraft mac and cheese.
Chętnie
But
posłucham.
people were like
A, to może kiedyś ci
stocking
opowiem.
up during
Się
the
nad tym
pandemic on
spokojnie
everything.
zastanowić.
And that's
Dasz mi
always
moment?
kind of been a theme of America, is that people use the perhaps legitimate fear of some cataclysm as a reason to have so much food and hoard. And hoard
Czego ci ludzie mogą chcieć od
food
lat?
in their homes and have closets
Nic
full
nie
of food,
podejrzewasz?
pantries
Nie wiem.
full of food.
Musimy
8,
przede
10,
wszystkim
12,
dotrzeć do tej
15
netranerki.
things of breadcrumbs.
To jest teraz ważne.
20 breadcrumbs.
Wygląda na to, że wie o
things.
biochipie
You could
wystarczająco
fill
dużo,
a
żeby nam
kiddie pool
pomóc.
with breadcrumbs.
Podobno
just
nie wierzysz,
fucking-
że pomoc jest możliwa.
You know,
Po
coach
prostu
chicken
znajdź
cutlets
tę
in it
laskę od Voodoo
for
Boys.
hours and hours. And it's just, I think we're going to look back on it. I think we're going to go, this was a major mistake. I think we'll
Poczekaj.
look back on this.
Masz jakiś
And
pomysł,
I
jak
think
się
we're gonna
skontaktować z
go-
Voodoo Boys?
This is disgusting. And this is a major turning point. Going to a warehouse to feed your family was a turning point
Ej,
in
co
our
ty
culture. And
wyprawiasz?
it was not a good one. Walking into an industrial warehouse and buying tubs of things, barrels of things, rolling things onto a cart,
Popytam ludzi, podzwonię.
putting so much
jest
stuff
cholernie
on a cart you
hermetyczny,
can barely
nieuchwytny
see your
gang.
child.
Ale ktoś musi mieć jakieś dojście do nich.
It's not
to
good. This was
powodzenia.
not a good turning point. Creating a fun environment in that
Dzięki,
warehouse
Tuki.
where they had like
To ja
food, you
dziękuję, Wi.
eat, and you
Jesteś
shop.
naprawdę...
The Costco had that little thing you would buy food at that people really
Ewelin
liked.
nigdy nie potrafiła
Chicken
właściwie
bake. There was a
ocenić
few
ludzi.
things in there that were fun.
Gdybyś
They
się
had
lepiej
frozen
przyjrzała,
yogurt.
to wszystko mogłoby się
And you would
potoczyć
eat
inaczej.
there. It was a whole day. Getting food was a whole day. And you would need to eat literally Kirkland. Yeah, Kirkland. Signature brand, everything. You would need to eat to have the energy to then shop for 2 hours. Because a trip to Costco would be 2 or 3 hours. And they would tell you that. Your mother would tell you that. You go, don't whine. This is going to be 3 hours. And it would be 3 hours of going around Costco, which was always air conditioned, to the point where it's frozen.
Muszę nawiązać kontakt z
Because
Voodoo
they like to
Boysami.
keep the fatty
Najlepiej
badges
bezpośrednio z ich
comfortable.
szefem.
It's comfortable. It's a nice, cool. You never want to leave.
Voodoo Boysom
If you're in a
przewodzi
nice,
mamą
cold
Brigitte.
environment
Ciężko
and
będzie
you're
się z nią
a fatty
skontaktować.
batty, you don't want to leave. It's comfortable. The minute you start sweating, you're out. So they kept it like sub-zero. It felt like you were
Nie
walking
robisz z
around
nimi
the
interesów.
freezer. And you got everything. And I just think
Interesy, voodoo boys.
we got to
Niebezpieczne
turn on
połączenie.
this.
Ale
This has got to be.
jeśli chcesz,
This
mogę
is not
spytać, czy da się coś
good.
załatwić.
Someone has to
Tylko muszę wiedzieć,
articulate,
o co konkretnie
probably
chodzi.
better than me, why it should be shameful and embarrassing to be a member of this. It should be
Mam
shameful
coś,
and
na czym mi
embarrassing to be a
zależy.
member of this.
Chcesz coś
This is
opchnąć
not
voodoo
how you
boysom?
should shop. This is not how you should feed your
Oni
family.
nic od nas nie potrzebują.
I'm
Wszystko
sorry.
mają własne.
Everyone
Tech,
now on Instagram, they
kontakty,
make these videos.
wkłady, sieć.
All these like blue collar working class people are making food videos now
Zobaczę, co
with
da się
all this
zrobić i
poison
oddzwonię
food
do
because
ciebie.
they're like, why should the rich people have all the fun making food? I'm gonna show you how to make buffalo chicken pudding. There's a woman on there, and I'm not gonna bring her up. And I do like her, but she's like, she does these tutorials where she's like, today I'm making pizza cake. So what? It's cake and pizza, and my kids like it. She doesn't ever feed the kids vegetables. She makes the worst food for the kids over and over again. There's this other woman, and I don't know what people get out of watching her. She's like, watch a working class woman make her husband's lunch. And she makes it like just adult, like Lunchables with like all processed food. And it's the most disgusting thing you've ever watched. Listen, I'm saying, I think with the Ozempic stuff, maybe this is a turning point. Maybe we are about to turn on this. They certainly feel like all of these drugs are starting to be very effective. People are starting to eat a lot less. A lot of these companies are flipping out. They don't know what to do. All of the people that make Ozempic and Wegovy, all those, they're now, I think, the most. They have the biggest market cap of any European
Spodziewałam się
company.
jednego przeciwnika, ale niech będzie.
I forget the name of the
To
company
który
that
idzie na
makes
pierwszy
Ozempic,
ogień?
but
Nie zrozumieliśmy
Nova
się. Fakty
something-
są takie. Jesteśmy
something else.
jedną i tą samą osobą.
It's made by
Czyli co, dwoi mi się w oczach?
yes, Novo Nordics.
Nie,
Nordisk.
nie. Kiedyś byłem bliźniakami. Tego się pewnie domyślasz. Te ciała
Is the
łączyła
maker of
bliska
Wegovy.
więź, ale to było za mało.
It's Europe's
Więc
most valuable
wszczepiłem
company
sobie
worth more than
synchronizatory
500 billion euros.
neurostylizacyjne.
This is the
Jeden
beginning of
człowiek,
a big
dwóch
turning
ciała.
point. And what
Moje
I
ciała
believe,
wszystko robią
if
razem.
this is all correct, this is the beginning. We're going to start turning on these food warehouses, fast food. And I think it's going to, this could
was posrał.
reshape America. It could totally change
Nie
it. I'll
was,
be dead. Everyone I
tylko
know.
ciebie.
Maybe not.
Poza tym, co za niesportowy język. Wstyd.
Maybe not, but
Ludzie-
I'll tell you this. I think this could be such a major disruptive, just like the porn to
Zmądrzejesz.
that tribe in the Amazon.
Dlaczego?
You might see a ton, because nobody takes Ozempic and goes, let's go to Costco. There's no way. If Ozempic does anything, you should not be able to walk through a Costco. And I haven't done it yet. I'm waiting to see if these celebrities croak. Stop for a second. Let's wait and see if Minnie drops. But here's what Ozempic should do if it does anything. If you walk into a Costco, you should have the reaction of that girl from The Exorcist. Your head should spin off your shoulders. You should start projectile vomiting. If Ozempic does anything, when you walk into Costco, you should just start. It should be like The Exorcist because you should be disgusted by this. Food that could fall and kill you. There's so much of it. It could fall off a fucking shelf and kill you. That should make you heave on Ozempic. You should be disgusted. Wegovy, Mounjaro, whatever. You should walk through Costco, and I mean, it's like me, 14 years sober, going through San Fran, watching people lay on the street with needles out of their arms. That is what Ozempic should make you feel like in Costco. And the article is the cult of Costco, right? And it is a cult. Yeah, the cult of Costco. It is. Go down here for a minute. Let's see. Sensory overload starts the second you enter the airplane
Przychodzę od
hangar
Fibek.
size
Mówiła,
store.
że masz coś dla mnie.
The place is packed with
jesteś
people.
Wi?
And do I smell hot dog
Pewnie
water?
słyszałaś,
Yes, you
co się
do.
stało.
The shopping floor is a
jej.
bewildering jumble
Zostawiła
of
dla ciebie
merchandise,
demona.
much of it stacked high above your head,
Prezent z
still in
zagrobu.
cardboard boxes. There are virtually no
Pójdzie na
signs to tell
każdym
you
deku
what
trzeciej
to wear.
generacji.
You eventually realize that the stuff you came to buy is, of course, all the way in the back. I hope these become
Dobra,
museums.
wezmę demona. Jak
I really
chcesz, to
do.
możesz go od razu
I
wypróbować
hope
na
we
moim
look back
punkcie
at this and
dostępu.
these become
Może
museums. You know,
udać
we
się
do move
stamtąd
on from
wygrzebać
stuff.
jakiś
There
fajny
used to be
program albo
bars everywhere,
komponenty.
littered. This
Tak
country
czy
was
inaczej
littered with
opłaci
bars
się.
where people would sit and smoke cigarettes. They were on every corner, and now they're not there as much. They're almost gone. They're almost gone because Americans simply just decided that they didn't want to live like that. And I'm not saying that was the right decision either, considering what they're doing now. But you can look at these stores and eventually see a time in the not so distant future when they don't exist. When they don't exist. When people are like, you know what? I'm not getting an appetite. My mother once got an appetizer box. The count was 300 hors d'oeuvres in the box at Costco. There was 80 potato puffs. They told you what they had. It was like 80 potato puffs, 80 fucking, whatever turnover, whatever these things are, 80 pigs in a blanket. For New Year's, we didn't throw any party. It's too much. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And I think that maybe these Ozempic drugs change, and everyone's like, well, isn't that the easy way out?
Masz coś fajnego
America's
na
the easy
sprzedaż?
way out, dummy.
Jeśli cię stać.
We've always been the easy way out. What are you, nuts? No one in this country is looking for anything other than the easy way out. Everyone has been looking for a get-rich-quick scheme or some fucking thing they can figure out and make a lot of money. Nobody in this country is looking for how good it feels to do a day's of work. I just feel good doing the Lord's work. No one in this country, maybe somewhere else, but not in this country. This is the easy way out. That's what we do. Russia fights World War II and wins. We take credit. Easy way out. What we do. It's what we do. Yes, I know your grandpa died on D-Day. Fuck off. They lost more. I'm not even saying that, the sacrifices of us, but it's not even comparable. It's the easy way out. It's what we do. We're good at it. We're good at the easy way out. Taking the easy way out and making it look hard is actually more difficult than doing the hard work. No one respects anyone who works in this country. Look at them like they're scum. As you should. Someone who's working, you immediately feel bad for. Our parents, and I said this on Tucker, they used to point to people in the street and who were working and go, look it, that's what you're gonna be. If you don't figure it out, that's what you're gonna be. You're gonna be in the street working all day. Like that in-shape guy you see working, you're gonna be like him. If you don't figure it out, you can sit at a desk all day. It's just funny. I'm like, listen, think whatever you want about these drugs, and maybe they kill everybody in a year or two. I don't fucking know. But this whole idea that it's hilarious, and it's like people are like, well, that's taking the easy way out. It's like, that's everything we do. Everything we do is the easy way out, buddy. It's everything we do. That's the easy way out, that Ozempic. Hey, man, that's what we're into. That's what we're into, the easy way out. It's the easy way out. It's why we have a 5th grade reading level in America. Most Americans read at the 5th grade level, okay? There's the 7th grade books to a year. The 5th grade, you know why? Because it's the easy way out. TV. And the internet's even easier than that. It's on your phone in your pocket. And what do we use that to do? What's smarter? So cut it out. Cut it out. I mean, listen, you might not like these drugs and they're fine, but let's not pretend that, like, him $50,000.
ja nie
Scott,
chcę
nice
umierać.
guy. And we all said to him, you know, you could have made more money if you just worked those 2
Nic ci
years.
nie
But he
zrobiłem.
couldn't work. He had to prove
Słyszeliście to?
back so he got $50,000. You could have made more than $50,000. I just had a job. And you know what he said? It was the most American thing he ever said. He goes, and what would the point of that have been? What would have been the point of that? He's right. He sat on his ass for 2 years and he finally got a nameless fake corporation taking $50,000 because he was retarded. And that's the American dream. That's the American dream. The American dream is that. It's not to work hard every day, all day, and get nothing or a very little bit. It's to hack the city. All these kids go to Stanford, they put a hoodie on, and then Peter Thiel gives them $9 million because they say they want to build a spaceship. That's what it's about. It's about being full of shit and getting lucky. That's what the country's about, and there's nothing wrong with it either. There's nothing wrong with it because that's inevitably where civilization lands. It starts with hard work, and then people figure out that that's gay. It's pretty dumb to toil in the field, and then people start realizing, actually, we found a better way to do it. This is where civilizations all go. They all go to where no one's really working. No one's doing much of anything. And that's where we're at. And yes, we're going to have to take drugs to make us not eat ice cream sundaes. Because we're at a point now where everything's gotten so easy. Even the things that shouldn't be are easy. Even if you have a hard life, it's easy to be a fatty batty. It's easy to get cheap shit food. It's easy to get porn. It's easy, so all civilizations eventually get to a point where people get lazy and they look for what we're looking for, which is an easy way out or up. That's why there's so much as an emphasis on networking. Everybody's like, it's who you know, not what it's network. That's a full-on admission that everybody's trying to get juiced into something. Everybody's trying to get let in to something they don't have the quality, they don't have the qualifications to do. That's why they're all obsessed with network. It's not who you know, it's what you know. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Network, bro. You got to network. Build your network. And here's what they're trying to say. If you're full of shit on your own, that's tough. You're full of shit and everyone you know is full of shit, now we're talking. That's hard to beat. That's what networking is for these people. That's what it means. They don't ever say it in a real way where they're like, build a client base by networking and offering people. No. They go, if you're a delusional psychopath, you need to be around other delusional psychopaths because eventually there'll be so many of you, you just create a thing. It's just there. People go, well, they're all there. It's just what happens. So that, to me, I never look. Now, I don't know anything about this drug, and I know people that are on it, a lot of people that are on it. Some people love it. Some people say it's stalled for them, and they've hit a ceiling with it, and they can't go on. But the thing that I find the most hilarious are the people that go, well, it's an easy way out. It's an easy way out. And you go, yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's why it's worth $500 billion. That's why it made all that money. That's why it made all that money. Telling people to do something that's difficult and hard's not going to make that much money. Giving people something and going, hey, it's the reason that Costco has a cult of followers. Is because they go in there and it's easy to be an animal. It's easy to walk through a warehouse and get bags of goldfish that look like sandbags you're using to stop a flood. except you're putting it in the back seat of your Kia Spectra and driving them to your house so your children can eat them and die. But that's easy. Nobody's going to Costco for veggies. You're going to get highly processed food, and a lot of it, so that you can shovel it down your family's throat. So we're all looking for easy way out. This might just be a better easy way out. I don't know. I can't wait till the Amazon tribes get introduced to Ozempic. I can't wait till the Marubo are on Ozempic and they learn about plastic surgery and they learn about all of these things. It's going to be great. 2 years from now, the Marubo women are going to all have facelifts and new tits and new asses and new heads, and the men are all going to be on Viagra and all of these other drugs, and everybody in that tribe is going to be on Ozempic. People that have gotten a little chubby because they'll start eating our food eventually. There's got to be one Postmate. There's got to be one DoorDash. One guy who shows up. One guy. Wait till there's Raising Cane's. I want to put a Raising Cane's there. I want to put a Raising Cane's in the Amazon. Fatten them up. Fatten them all up. That's what I would do. Like gives them all Starlink. I'd go over there with Raising Cane's. And I'd introduce chicken fingers to the Amazon. They all get fat. Just big tribes of fatties. They go, what did Tim Dillon do with his body? They go, he introduced chicken fingers to uncontacted Amazon tribes. And they all got fat. And then they all had to take Ozempic. And he invested in Ozempic too. It was sick. It's like the Rothschilds, how they funded supposedly both sides of the wars. I would fund Raising Cane's. And I bet there's some sickos who would do that. There's definitely people in our society that are like, get me in on, let me invest in Nestle and go for it. Because they go, the fatter they get, the more they'll need a needle. You gotta cover your bases.
Chwila.
You gotta cover
Ktoś
your
cię do tego
bases.
zmusił?
You have to make sure
I
that no
jednego z
matter
moich
which way
braci.
it goes,
Uśpili
you're on
mnie,
top of it. You've got a little money.
zabrali
That's
mi
really what it
ciało.
comes down to. That's why I would not have saved
Kpili ze mnie.
those children.
Jak
you know,
można
right?
zrobić coś
Because
takiego
I
drugiemu
don't
człowiekowi
know.
i jeszcze z niego kpić?
I still don't know. You don't know how it's going to go. And in America, you always have to cover your bases. You have to make sure that if it goes left, you're okay. If it goes right, you're okay.
A gdzie ten drugi
So I
mnich?
just would have
Nadal z nimi?
quietly got in my car.
Tak.
And this is my advice to anyone.
Ja byłem pierwszy.
Anyone that sees
Dopiero
someone being
zaczynali się
attacked,
zastanawiać, co mu
get in your
zainstalować.
car and drive away.
Wyglądasz na kogoś, kto potrafi rozmawiać z takimi
And I
ludźmi.
know you guys doesn't feel heroic.
Pomóż mojemu bratu.
It all depends on the
Może
song.
jeszcze nie jest za późno.
Really?
Nie chcę, żeby on też musiał żyć
All depends on the
w
song.
ten sposób.
The only time I want to see you intervene in something like that is if you see me getting hit by Jerry Seinfeld.
Ostrzegam, że może dojść do walki. To Maelstrom.
Na pewno
Ladies
jest
and
jakieś inne
gentlemen, welcome
rozwiązanie.
to Tim Dillon Show.
Pomóż nam, ale nie za cenę
Recording
ludzkiego życia.
Minutes,
Zobaczę, co da się
hours
zrobić.
after Trump
Tak czy inaczej wchodzę w to.
convicted on all
Nie wiem, jak ci
34
dziękować.
counts of falsified
Szukaj magazynu
business
na północ
records
stąd.
in
Tam go
the
trzymają.
hush money
To zaraz przy drodze, która biegnie
trial
wzdłuż
with
przystani.
Stormy Daniels.
Mnich w opałach. Poetyczne. Epopeja na miarę twoich możliwości.
Was plowing
Jak myślisz? Zdążysz wjechać na białym koniu, czy od razu cię zajebią?
With some dirty money, and this has been the trial that he's been going through. Full disclosure, live a few blocks away. I have a home a few blocks away from. I don't live anywhere. I'm gonna say that immediately. That people always say, "Where do you live?" It's like, why do you? What is that? What is that? It's like a crazy question. People go, "Where do you live?" I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm figuring it out. Like, I'm figuring it out. But Trump, I have a condo that I occasionally go to.
Mnich
A few
nowej
blocks
generacji.
away from the courthouse, where they delivered this conviction. Because it is New York. And Trump was probably guilty. I
I
don't
to
think
tutaj
anyone
trzymają naszego braciszka.
imagines that he wasn't guilty. Why people are upset about this. Why I think all that helps Trump. Analysis. Most people know Trump's kind of a criminal. He's been open about it. That's kind of why people like him. He goes, I game the system.
Nie
I'm
róbcie mi
rich.
tego! Mój
I
zakon
get
jest
away with
przeciwny
shit. I
wszczepom!
do what I want.
Nie chcę ich!
I pay people off. He said
Już po
that.
wszystkim.
He came out and
Nie
said
jestem
it.
jedną z nich.
Like I pay people
Więc
off.
co tu
I
robisz?
play the game.
Co się
That
stało?
was very refreshing. Dave Chappelle did
Akurat
that
przechodziłam
monologue on
obok i
SNL,
usłyszałam chujowe żarty
talking
o
about how
metalowych mnichach.
groundbreaking it
Nie
was that
mogłam tego
Donald
tak
Trump like
zostawić.
came out and was like, hey, yeah,
Tak poważnie to przysłał mnie
you know
twój
why
brat.
I know how corrupt
Nie
everything
chciał, żeby
is?
zrobili ci to
Because
samo, co ja.
I'm the guy.
Dziękuję.
I'm one of those people who's been
Skoro nie możesz, to
doing it for years. I get it. So I don't think I don't think there's anyone out there that's like, would
Ale moje
Trump have
życie nie było
paid
warte
off
śmierci
a
tych
porn
ludzi.
star? Would he have done that?
nie możesz, to
Would Trump have? I think everyone knows that. I don't think anyone cares. I don't care. I think paying people off's fine, to be honest. To shut up. I don't think that's a big problem, morally. Of all the ways you could get someone to shut up, you have killing them, threatening them, blackmailing them, paying them off is by far the best way to get them to shut up. It is by far the least of all the things in our political system. I mean, the three dudes at Boeing who were like, hey, maybe there's a crack in the... Goodbye!
Jeden dobry
They're all
uczynek nie
gone.
usprawiedliwia morderstwa.
How nice would it have been if they
To
just
zło
got
w
hush
najczystszej
money?
postaci.
It's not even
Brat wydawał
that,
się bardziej sympatyczny.
like, no one's horrified that someone paid somebody else off to shut
Co
up.
mi mam zrobić? Wygłosić im
I
kazanie?
think
Maelstrom najpierw strzela, potem
People
pyta.
don't like the
Zawsze
idea
jest jakiś wybór.
that in an
Zaniechanie
incredibly
działania byłoby
corrupt
lepszym
system
rozwiązaniem.
where you have
Wolałbym stracić swoje
almost
prawdziwe ciało,
everyone
niż
that
żyć ze
you
świadomością, że ktoś zginął z
are
mojej
aware of in the political sphere in this
Złapię
country
oddech i zaraz dołączę do brata.
is some
Będzie potrzebował
kind of
wsparcia.
criminal. Everybody is some kind of criminal.
Może jeszcze
It's
powinieneś
why
przeprosić za
they are
uratowanie
there.
mu tego
We
organicznego
all know
tyłka.
that.
W
It's
prawdziwym świecie nie ma
why they
czegoś
got
takiego jak
elected
dobro.
in the
Są
first
tylko
place. They are some kind of criminal. Everybody in the political system at a high level at one point or another has looked the other way or has paid some kind of hush money to somebody. It's just a fact. I mean, everybody has done it, and we all know that. And the people that don't do it and the people that refuse to do it are flushed down the toilet. They get rid of them. They get rid of them. It's just the way things work. And I think people get angry at what they view as an inherent, like, contradiction. When you
Ludzie, którzy
have
postępują słusznie.
the
Ty
federal
postąpiłaś
government,
słusznie, świat cię nagrodził. Karma się
now the
zgadza.
state government,
Widzisz
but
ten
this
cały
is the
sprzęt
federal
do przygarnięcia?
government in New York.
Podoba mi się ten
I
tok
believe.
myślenia.
This was federal? I believe. But it also could have been the state. I'm unsure.
It was federal. It was in federal.
Yeah,
court.
federal. That's what I thought, because that's where the condo that I occasionally bump into is. People are wondering, they're going, this is a politically motivated prosecution. And it doesn't mean that Trump is innocent. It means that there's zero interest in finding out any of this information about any of the other people in our system. We don't care. We don't see any of these things being applied evenly. There's zero interest. In fact, when the Epstein docs came out and Clinton's name is all over them, the whole media, they were basically like, listen, yes, he's in all of these documents. Yes, he's mentioned 50 times. Yes, he's been on the plane. But that doesn't mean that he did anything that is wrong. They didn't even forget legal. They were basically like, this guy is innocent. The media's job when the Epstein docs came out was to go out and say nobody who's mentioned in these docs did anything wrong. They're all innocent. They're all innocent. And again, it's like, go sell that to your wife. Go sell that to anybody that you're mentioned 50 times in the deposition of a human trafficking victim. So there's zero interest in that. There's zero interest in getting to the bottom of that. Nobody really wants to get to the bottom of that. Nobody really goes like, well, that's interesting. What's going on over there? Why were all these politicians? Where are all these tapes? What happened? I don't get it. All these people that were being recorded, where are those tapes? Who were those people? Nobody really cares about that. Nobody's really interested in that. And that's just one example of all of the things people could be interested in. Nobody's really cares, but this case is explicitly brought for the purposes of trying to get this guy on something. Because his popularity is amazing considering all of the issues he's had. And there doesn't seem to be any way to stop that. These trials, these cases that they're throwing at him, you know, the entirety of his presidency was Russia, and none of that panned out. You know, this idea that he was an asset of Russia, he was installed by the Russian government. You know, none of that worked. You couldn't get him. James Comey, Robert Mueller, all these Mueller, whatever. All these guys, all these special prosecutors, nobody was able to really deliver the goods. So that's where it started. It started that he was an agent of a foreign government who got elected in an election that was manipulated by that government, and he's now in the Oval Office, and he's carrying out the agenda of Vladimir Putin and Russia in America. That's how it started. This is a Manchurian candidate. This is a guy that's in there, and we don't know how this happened. This happened because Russia went on Facebook and made everybody's aunt racist, and then Trump got elected, and now he's doing the bidding of Russia. It was the beginning of it. That was the beginning. And that went on for years, and there was all his cronies and everyone he was around, they're all beholden to Russia and Russian money. And that was the narrative, and there were people that were deeply skeptical of that, on the left and the right, by the way. The far left, not the mainstream left, they were with it. And even a lot of the mainstream right kind of went along with it. They were kind of like, well, maybe this is. Now, we finally, it's years later, and what we finally got the guy on is that he paid off a porn star to keep quiet. He paid off a porn star. You know, again, if somebody, is that like a black mark on his character? Isn't that his character? Isn't that Donald Trump's character? Like, what would you think Donald Trump would be doing? If you didn't even know Donald Trump, and a guy who walked by you in a pinstripe suit with golden hair on Fifth Avenue, and someone pointed to you and said, that guy paid off a porn star, you wouldn't even respond with words. You just like take a sip of your coffee and smile, because it's exactly what you think that person would do. I don't think anybody's shocked by that. I don't think anybody's like, now I guess this might have an effect on the election. I don't know. People said it when I was watching Karl Rove, who was George W. Bush's guy. He was his guy. They called him the architect, Karl Rove. And Karl Rove was basically like, a lot of the polls that are out say people will be less likely to vote for Trump if he's convicted. But Karl Rove also said if he's exonerated, he's Teflon. But he was convicted. I don't know if this is going to have a huge impact on the election. I know that he's going to be sentenced. Rarely with this charge would you get prison. I don't know if he's going to get prison. I don't know if they're going to try to make an example out of him. I think if they put him in prison, you're going to be looking at, you know, again, his website is crashed because of donations in the last hour. People are like, again, this has galvanized the hardcore Trump people. And if he goes to prison, the Secret Service goes too. I read this earlier, that they will be protecting him in prison. And as our friend, the great Ray Cubb said, he might run the whole operation from the can. Like the movie Donnie Brasco, when the guy goes, Rusty's running the whole thing from the can. I got Brooklyn, Sonny Red's got Little Italy. I mean, that might be it. Trump might be the president of the United States from prison. He might just run the country from prison. He will lose no supporters if that happens. He will gain many supporters. You are going to see, I think, a surge in support for him. A lot of people in this country have been to jail. A lot of them. A lot of people in this country have been to jail. And I'm watching them on social media. They kind of like it. There's, by the way, I'm telling you right now, if you just want to look at cool, if you want to look at who's the cooler candidate, the guy who doesn't know where he is, or the guy who's maybe doing like 2 months in jail, the guy who's doing 2 months in jail is the cooler candidate, no question. And Trump's going to go in there and he's going to act like Nelson Mandela. He's going to be his version of Nelson Mandela in prison. This is going to be the best thing that has ever happened to him and to memes, really. But also, Tim, let's watch some of these videos. This is outside the courthouse today. Many people, very emotional. Here's the thing about Trump. People, he's really in their blood. This is a religious experience for these people. Let's take a listen.
Jesus and Lord.
If you're not watching this is just Asians in MAGA hats crying. I just wish he was exonerated. I just want to see happy Asians. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see Asian women crying, like older Asian ladies in MAGA hats crying. How fun would it have been to just see them happy? A few blocks from my occasional pied-à-terre. It would have been nice to see them. Any other, we got some of people getting angry there? People...
This was before, yeah.
Are people getting violent, or what's going on? Just go up to Blacks for Trump. Let's see what they're up to.
Trump. I am the Elamite, and I'm here to defend Trump. And they're using the fact that they say that he's a racist to do all these lies and call him a treasonous man, when in actuality they're accusing him of what they are guilty of. So my job is to reveal the darkness that is now trying to overtake the light.
This is a big, by the way, I think convicting him of this is a big mistake. I think this is going to go the other way. I think he's going to galvanize supporters. I think this was a big mistake. We're going to listen here to Robert De Niro, who took it upon himself a day before the verdict to just have a press conference and talk about Trump. And everybody's shouting at him like, fuck you. De Niro, you know, is a big part of this whole area, Tribeca. The legend is that Robert De Niro was training in an empty warehouse in Tribeca for the movie Raging Bull. And he looked around at Tribeca and he goes, God, this area is great. Why isn't there anything down here? What's going on? It was all these empty, kind of abandoned warehouses. And then he opened up Nobu and Tribeca Grill, and he's a big real estate owner down here. And, you know, and he's become very passionate about politics for whatever reason. He's 80?
Yeah, he's up there.
He's 80. He's got a lot of kids now, right? Young kids. He just had a child at 80 years old. So that's who we're dealing with. By the way, all of these people are Trump. All of these people, this guy just had a 1-year-old child at 80. And he's going out as he's the sane, rational voice of reason. The octogenarian new dad, Robert De Niro.
Democrats, you are gangsters. You are gangsters.
Why would you, after a great, by the way, after, like, what is he trying to do here? What is this guy thinking is gonna happen? Like, actors sometimes just believe they have the powers that the people writing the scripts for them. What does he think is gonna happen? Like, he's gonna go down to this courthouse, he's gonna give this rousing speech, and then all the people in the MAGA ads are gonna turn around and go, you know, Robert De Niro's right. We've been had. Trump's a con. Bobby De Niro's right. That guy was in Casino. He's the guy from Goodfellas. So they're all telling De Niro, your movies suck, you're washed up, which, by the way, it is a dose of you know, he needs to hear that. Everyone needs to hear you're washed up. It's a fun insult to throw it like an older person, because it's invariably true. There's nothing. I wanted to go down there and yell very specific. Why did you do about my father? Do you need money? So you have Robert De Niro getting literally thrown around by the MAGA people and just totally getting trashed by these people. There's like a ton of cops protecting Robert De Niro from the MAGA. By the way, people are getting like lit on fire in the subway, thrown on the tracks. There was a machete attack in the Times Square McDonald's. And all of these police are on like detail, Robert De Niro detail, protecting this old guy who's just screaming and yelling outside of a courthouse. Robert De Niro is not involved in the case. I want to remind everybody, Trump did not pay off Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro is not an employee of the federal government. He has zero reason to be there. And then the cops are all like helping Robert De Niro across the street as he gets totally pilloried by the Trump people. It is fun though, you know, if you've ever read Bonfire of the Vanities, one of my favorite books, I'm a lifelong New Yorker, I love Tom Wolfe. And that book is about a banker, I believe it's Sherman McCoy, yeah, and he is driving through the Bronx and he hits a young African-American child and then thinks he's gotten away with it, but he hasn't gotten away with it. They trace it back to him because he makes a mistake. When the police come and ask him, about his car, he, you know, makes this kind of mistake. He says the car is not in the building, that he's having it tuned up or something. And the police then find the car. It's pretty routine how it happens. There weren't, you know, he could have gotten away with it probably had he not made that mistake, had he just showed them the car. There wasn't really scratches on the car or anything. The point is, the book culminates in a trial where you have all these New York characters just all over the place. It becomes a big civil rights issue. You have that. You have this guy's life spins out of control. It's Tom Wolfe's best book. The guy's life spins out of control. He's this, you know, master of the universe, Wall Street banker, lives on Park Avenue, has a wife. I believe he was cheating on her when he hit the kid in the Bronx. And then his life just descends into chaos. And that's kind of the vibe of this trial a little bit, except Tom Wolfe never would have been able to imagine this scene, or maybe he would have, that the president of the United States, Donald Trump, is being tried in a hush money case with an OnlyFans model named Stormy Daniels. But it's a very right out of Bonfire of the Vanities thing. And outside the courthouse, you have crying Asian women screaming. You have Blacks for Trump. You have Robert De Niro, dare I say, washed-up actor who's 80 years old with a 1-year-old child. And instead of being home with that child, he's now part of the Biden-Harris campaign. And Robert De Niro is screaming in front of the court. It is a scene, and by the way, I witnessed on foot. I did witness some of this scene. It does feel like New York at its best. It really does. It feels like New York at its best. People going, fuck you! You're washed up! Your movies suck! How great is that? A guy with the accent. And you know that guy loves Goodfellas. You know that guy doesn't mean that. That guy loves Goodfellas. That guy doesn't love Goodfellas? What are you, nuts? But he hasn't made a Goodfellas in a while. And when that guy goes, your movies suck! And these people, So Donald Trump convicted, I think, goes the other way. I'm going to make a prediction that this was a grave error. Bringing this case was a grave error. I could be wrong. Maybe I will be wrong. I do not know. But I will tell you this, I think people get more excited about Trump now than they have been. In keeping with older people who are about to leave the planet, just letting people have it. A guy I've always kind of liked, Richard Dreyfuss, goes on a rant at a Jaws screening. Now, every year they have this Jaws Fest. And in this type of, and I don't know if this is technically Jaws Fest, but Jaws is widely considered to be one of the greatest movies ever made, and Richard Dreyfuss is the star. We all know this. Richard Dreyfuss goes to a Massachusetts theater and is going to speak before the film about purportedly the movie. So instead, you have Richard Dreyfuss, who's, again, it's like Bobby De Niro. It's like every day's a gift at that age. Every day's a gift. And they want to just pop off and tell you where their heads are at. So he goes, I wish we had this rant, but we don't have it. Right?
This might be video. Oh, yeah, because they took it down.
See if you can find it.
Oh, this is it. This is more.
Oh, this is great. By the way, this is a real treat. Richard Dreyfuss and these people don't know what's about to hit them. This is the star of Jaws, but he's had enough with some things, some cultural trends, and I guess this might be it. He's getting a big ovation from the people. He's got a cane. He looks good. But he's getting ready. You can feel it.